Welcome back. This is Bent Discipline with another lesson in the series. Today, I want to discuss the differences between a vanilla relationship and a BDSM relationship. And I started to write notes about this and I ended up with a book. So I'm just going to touch on a few things today. Maybe I'll go into more detail another day. The first thing is, and the most important thing is, that they start from two completely different places. A BDSM relationship starts from a place of openness, transparency, honesty, acceptance, and you realize that you're looking for someone to go on a journey with. You're picking somebody with intent, whereas in a vanilla relationship, from everything that I've been able to garner, it starts from you trying to trap or attract or get that girl or get that guy, and it's very adversarial and deceptive. I don't think it's intentionally deceptive. It's just by its virtue, it has to be, because you're directly in competition with other males and females that are trying to attract a mate. So females are being deceptive with their photos. Males also. Males are being deceptive about who and what they are. So they are doing puffery. I call it a leased lifestyle. They're leasing everything. They're putting their best foot forward, and sometimes this is making statements that are not true or not quite true about their social status, their affluence. Maybe the car they drive, they don't necessarily own it completely. It's a leased car, or maybe they have no money in the bank, but they always put on a good show. And women, on the other hand, apply a lot of makeup. They edit their photos, and I have some information about that. This was a study that was done in 2009. Now, unfortunately, it only had 54 participants, which is tiny, so it can't be taken that seriously. But I believe that a lot of this is accurate, and it says that approximately 1/3 of photographs are not accurate, and it goes into the details as to what are the inaccuracies. And I'll just go through it really quickly. Weight being misled. Women 40%, men 22%. Now these photos have been edited in some way that, or maybe they're old, in that doesn't truly reflect the individual. So here the subject's age: women 55%, men 22%. The age is not right. The skin quality: 48%, men 26%. Hairstyle: 37 versus 3.7. Hair length: 11 versus 25%, which I found interesting because I didn't realize that the guys would care about that. But misleading the quality of their teeth: 23.8% versus almost 15% for men. Done by a professional photographer. Again, this is very interesting. So spending the extra time and money to get somebody to do the lighting and to find the exact right photo. One of my friends who's in the dating scene, he used to look at photos and he says, "Oh no, this one's a fortunate photo." I'm like, "What do you mean a fortunate photo?" "Well, this woman will take 100 selfies and she'll pick, the top one or two, and those will be in her profile. But when you meet them in real life, they don't look like that." So that's another example of professional photography. It's not quite a professional, but when you take so many photos and pick out just the right angle, the right light, none of your flaws are showing. It's very similar. Cropped: 25% versus 15%. Retouched. Now this one is interesting. In this case, with only 54%, 0% of men bothered to Photoshop their photos, where 26% of women have obviously Photoshopped their things. So that goes to the deception at the beginning of a vanilla thing. And that continues on in the actual dates. There's deception through what they're saying, their actions, their words. "Oh, I'll take care of you, baby," and the woman is acting extra sexual. And there's this kind of thing that happens where women are offering sex for attention and love and being taken care of, and men are offering the reverse. They're offering to swoo her off her feet, to take care of her, buy her dinner, tell her how he's looking for a serious relationship, basically feeding her the words that she wants to hear about how he's going to be the one. And she's offering to be sexually open and adventurous and excited. And simultaneous to that, not only are you, hiding your flaws and pretending that you're something that you're not, but you're also overlooking the other person's things that bother you. So if if the woman gets annoyed at the fact that this guy was a small tipper, then she'd be like, well, maybe it was just his time. He didn't have enough, small bills with him. And then over time, what happens is after like 3 to 6 months, two things happen simultaneously. Number one, you stop hiding your own flaws. So you just, let your gut out. You say, well, I'm not really that kinky. I don't want to try that anymore. Whatever it is that you were pretending to do originally, you finally stop doing. So after 3 to 6 months, you stop being the fake you and you start being more of the real you. And at the exact same time, you're expecting all the things that you expected before, and you don't let things slide anymore. And so that's why a lot of vanilla relationships only last 3 to 9 months, because those two things happen within that time frame. You stop pretending to be something you're not, and you start expecting everything that you expected originally, but lets things slide. Whereas in the BDSM relationship gets better and better. And why is that? It's because not all DS relationships start. A lot of it doesn't start because there's a mismatch between the dominant and the submissive, and they realize it shouldn't start. And it starts from a level of high trust, communication, transparency, honesty. You're on a journey with somebody, and you want to make sure it's the right journey, the right person to be on that journey with. So there's a lot of communication, and it's far beyond just a checklist and a contract. It's sitting down with the person and understanding what their true needs are, and if you have commonalities that can, help each other. And so what happens is, instead of starting off from a position of deception and whatnot, you start from a position of understanding and openness and transparency, and the relationship is able to grow from that point. So that over time, every time you have a scene, every time you sit down and talk, you're able to explore what you've done already and what you want to explore together in the future. And that level of trust and honesty and transparency and communication is what builds a relationship. And realizing that it's a daily task. It's not just, oh, you start at the beginning, you find the right guy, the right girl, and you've arrived. That's not how it is in a DS relationship. It's a continuous growth and coming together and communication. And so that's the primary thing that I wanted to discuss today, is that DS relationships improve and grow and develop and become very deep, partially because it's a very emotional experience for both the dominant and the submissive. Being in scenes and having such a raw, visceral experience together brings the two partners close together. It's very much like boot camp for people in the military, or any kind of major event that people have survived through together. And it is a form of survival. You've come through something really intense, and you have a commonality now that you don't share with anyone else. Going through those really intense experiences bonds you in a way that I don't think vanilla people get, and they can't understand because they've never experienced it. So that's what I have for you today. Take that with you and be safe.